Hey everybody, it's Nick here at CrossFit 248. Today, this video is going to be about the split jerk. This is sort of a follow-up video to the video we made the other day on our YouTube, jerk jail. Today we're talking about the split jerk, technique, footwork, positioning. This video is going to go over how to do the jerk really well. Jerk jail is a drill. It's really the best drill we have to fix a split jerk or to build really good patterning. So jerk jail is sort of an application of all the stuff I'm talking about today. First thing I want to talk to you about, split jerk. It's a jerk that involves leg movement, feet are landing in a split, and then standing it back up. So best way I've heard this explained is kind of like a cheating push press. Diane Fu said that. I really like that idea. It portrays to me that I have to have a lot of leg drive. Cool? So, split jerk. It is first a leg movement. There's a lot of leg drive involved. You got to get super tall. Nobody's fast enough to get under a barbell that wasn't first pushed high enough, I guess, with your legs. Cool? So we can't get under something that's not physically high enough. Got to get tall. Got to utilize those legs. So it's very important that you do that. Footwork, we're loose on here. Don't necessarily think that directly into your hips is the perfect position for everyone. You know, everybody's anatomy is a little bit different, so experiment. Like, I end up a little bit wider, so it's pretty close to where I might squat from, is where I start for my split jerk. So that covers our legs. It's really important that they're very heavily involved. Next, we're going to talk about grip. A lot of times we see people split jerking like off their fingertips, like this, like back here. So that's something that we like to try and avoid as much as possible. Obviously, it's a flexibility thing. But if you have enough flexibility to sort of get your hand as much on the barbell as possible, that's good. So we want as much of our hand on there as physically possible. We don't have to use a hook grip. A lot of times people ask us that. If you're going from a clean into a jerk, you do not need your hook for a split or any type of jerk, honestly. But yeah, so we try and teach people to get as much of their hand on as physically possible. This requires some flexibility, but it's something to work towards, definitely. Because if you think about it, if there's a barbell right here and you're pressing that overhead, this weight is just kind of balancing behind all of this like really strong musculature, right? So I want to sort of get everything stacked as much as possible because I want it to be stacked in a strong position when I get overhead. Cool? So I don't want to end like this. I don't want to start like this if I don't have to. It's just more movement that has to happen. So this is definitely a stronger position to end. And to some degree, it's really good to get here to start. So, let's see. How do we talk about that? I'll show you what that looks like for me. We don't have elbows super high. We don't teach that. So this is exactly what my jerk grip looks like. So from a side view, looks something like this. So there still is some. There's a pretty good bend on my wrist here. One, I'm not warmed up, but two, that's okay. I just want to make sure that I have some hand on the bar, something that I can drive through. Talking about that is another really important thing. There has to be some sort of balance, right? So we can't just be gripping up the barbell. Gripping up the barbell super hard really puts a damper on the momentum we're getting out of our legs. So if I drive super hard, but I'm gripping up the barbell so hard that it can't really fly, it can't really move, you know, I'm hindering my ability to lift a lot of weight. So there has to be this this fine balance between getting a good amount of your hand on the barbell and still allowing it to be loose enough for the barbell to move as a result of your leg movement. So those are two things. The last big thing I want to talk to you about in the split jerk today was foot movement. We don't want to jerk like Jordan. So Michael Jordan, notorious for flying. You know, he had crazy jumping ability. We see a lot of times, sometimes, let's see if I can back far enough. We see people jerk and they'll go like really high. That's obviously an exaggeration. But while we're in air, we're literally wasting time. We're not doing anything. Can't do much of anything. There's nowhere for, I can't put power into the ground, nothing. So it's a waste of time, literally slowing yourself down by putting yourself in the air for an extended period of time. So what we teach is to kind of like drag your foot across the floor. Cool, so I'm just trying to drag my toes. My foot is just high enough off the ground that it can move. Cool, so it's just kind of like credit cards, height off the floor, just sliding in the perfect position. So that's really important. Last thing is sort of foot positioning. It's really important that you land very stacked and stable. So talked about this in the jerk jail video. Your body has to be stacked over that back leg. It's very important, right? That makes me really strong, really stable. As you can see, there's sort of a line traveling down here. The other really important thing is that I step in far enough with my front leg that my front shin's vertical. So I don't want to be like this because that sort of contributes to me being really off balance, me being really heavily, a lot of my weight focused on this front leg. I don't want to make it any harder than I have to, trying to distribute the weight evenly. Last thing to talk about foot-wise, I don't want to split on a tightrope at all. Cool, so this requires a good amount of balance without weight. Imagine if it's weighted, you're trying to split jerk a max. This is not a good place to be. Unstable. Cool, so this is where I land for a jerk. Yeah, so really important to make a big solid base. Obviously the bigger your base, the more stable you'll be, obviously to a certain extent. I mean, don't want to do split jerks like this. It's probably not going to be beneficial. But that's everything we got for you today on split jerks. We'll see you tomorrow with another video.